There's a fine line between an unconventional setup and a janky one. I put this rifle together to find out where that line is, and with some research consumerism, a sewing machine, and a drill, I think I pulled off a pretty interesting build. So let's get into what makes it tick.
One of the worst parts about owning a gun and owning night vision is having to buy the laser. The market's changed in the last 2 years quite a bit. You can get some pretty good lasers for some pretty good prices these days. That being said, the industry is still maturing. There's a lot of good companies out there that haven't really had a chance to prove themselves because they haven't been around for too long. And that leaves us as civilians who want to spend the money that we have in the most effective way possible is difficult. So this setup is the best ratio I could find between practicality, vibes, and budget. So maximizing those three things, and you're going to trade off every time you move further in one direction. This is what I came up with. So the lower is the same lower I've had for a long time, an ATX billet lower. It's the only lower I have. So I got a new upper. I got a 10.5 inch PSA upper on a smoking deal. I think it was like I've had this about a year. This might have been a 4th of July deal. This is kind of a trophy to my perceived savvy consumerism, but really just falling for a bunch of deals and sales. And I've been able to get away with some higher performance than I think the amount of money I spent would give me. So what does that mean? Let's start with the, we'll go tip to butt. We'll go OG Grand Thumb style. Can is an Otter Creek's Polonium 30. It's the most reliable one that I've been able to find at this price. And again, a company with a good track record behind it. So 30 cal was the move. It's not quite as quiet as the K or the 5.56, you know, so be it. Let's talk about what this crazy, almost kludge looking set of lights and lasers is on the top. The laser is a Holosun LS117 IR. It's a Civ Power single beam, IR only, no viz. Doesn't even have a push button. It has a crane port and a switch from constant on, off, momentary on. It's a very simple setup. I kind of like that you know, there's not a lot of different things that can that you can change and move around on this. But that being said, it's a civilian power laser. It's not going to be the most like lightsaber looking thing. Anyway, the dual light, I think it's manufactured by Echo Arms, sold by Zbolt. They discontinued the regular dual body, and I think they only make the dual body for Zbolt heads now. So on the bottom, I have a white light LED head. I got the LED IR head on top with a Surefire plug on the back and a Zbolt plug on the back of the white light. So it's the switch in the front, the mod button here, is a Unity dual lead. I've only been able to find it on custom night vision. It's about $75, which is cheaper than the Unity Sync. It has a crane plug and a Surefire plug, and they're both activated with one button. So I can use both the laser and the IR light at the same time with one button press. That eliminates a lot of the jank that you would have with like a dual switch setup or something like that. So it has a focus adjustment ring on the front. It goes from tight focus to really tight focus. It doesn't have a super wide flood like you would get on like a Surefire Vampire, so it's still usable in rifle ranges, and you're not going to auto-gate your tubes because of the gas coming out of the front being reflected back at you. The mount for the Holosun is an Arasaka, I think it's called a Massey mount, and it clamps onto the front of the triangle front sight, which is a little weird and I don't know how long it's going to hold 0. I know the Holosun laser holds 0. Those have been proven. They're solid. But I'm going to be testing this out for a while and see if the laser shifts. And I think if it does, it's going to be due to that mount. The cool thing about the 117 is it's in line with the bore. So when you zero it, you just have a parallel 0. And you don't have to worry about any offset. The wrap here was something I just sewed up myself. Got some multicam Tropic ripstop and some bungee cord and just ran it through there. It's to hide some wires and just for vibes, more or less. It's a cool project. I like doing it. Sling mount is on just an Amazon mount. I spent maybe 15 bucks. It's an Amazon QD mount that attaches to the Picatinny rail. I like my front sling mount just behind the end of the handguard. That's just how I like it. I don't like having to run into it while I get my hand nice and forward. Speaking of the handguard is a Magpul MOE slimline handguard. I went with the slimline because it covers the bayonet lug and the bottom of the triangle front sight, so I can get my hand a little further up the handguard instead of having to hold it all the way back around the middle of the barrel. I like being able to get that forward grip. Anyway, the switches on top are attached to a Picatinny rail. I drilled holes in the top of the Magpul handguard and ground off all the nubs for the M-lock kind of attachments on the bottom of the Picatinny rail. I bolted 2 screws through the Picatinny rail into the M-lock handguard, and it holds both these buttons super solid. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to move. They're always going to be there when I look for them. The wires are guided through these cheap little Amazon wire keepers. These M-lock wire guides. I don't know what they're called. Maybe I'll link them. The mount for the dual light body is another just Amazon special, 15 bucks light bar. This one was anodized in green. That's why I got it. They're probably all about the same. As long as you torque down the screws with Loctite, you're probably fine. It's just a piece of aluminum. Same thing with the red dot riser. Just a piece of aluminum. It's a clone of the Unity riser. On that riser, I have a Sig Romeo 7. Why did I go with the Romeo 7 and not something smaller and lighter? Well, because of the vibes. I know. What can I tell you? It's a shame. And it's a good price. It's a good rugged optic for a lot cheaper than you'd be getting like an Aimpoint or a Neotech. So I put it on a riser because I like that lower 1/3. I like still being able to index off of my front sight. Part of the reason why I went with a front sight post. 20 round mag with a Blackbeard sticker. Obvious reasons. Magpul MOE grip, SBA 3 pistol brace. I didn't set this up just to piss off Hop, believe it or not. Although I know it will. I'm sure eventually, as I continue shooting and training with this, I will realize why he hates these kinds of setups. But this isn't like a night fighting rifle, in my opinion. This is kind of more or less a short jack of all trades. There's pros and cons to it, right? The first pro is that to get a good laser aiming module with a LED based illuminator is going to be $1,000, $1,300, $1,600. This is still a civilian power laser, but I have that strong LED illuminator performance with the Zbolt head. So it's kind of like you're getting a D-ball D2, but at home. Probably $1,000 cheaper than any other laser aiming setup with the same performance. And that's including the white light. So, I mean, that's quite a bit cheaper. Can't change power levels up and down. It's one power. It's one button. You can't run just the laser. I mean, you can if you unplug the Surefire light, then you get just the laser. That's a turbo jank, though. If you prefer the setup and forget about it kind of way of doing things, then I think this is a decent move. I wrapped on all this multicam Tropic adhesive stuff. Again, simply for the looks and the vibes and the feels and the all that. Okay, one of the cons is you can't zero the illuminator to have the laser in the center of the ring. So you're always going to see a little bit of an offset. It's going to be off, the laser is going to be off to the left. It's not going to be dead center of that circle. I don't think that's catastrophic in my opinion. It's not a super big deal as long as like the laser's the thing that I'm using to aim. The sling's a part of the rifle, is a Brave Castle slang. I've been running it for probably like a year and a half, 2 years now. It's my favorite sling I've ever used. It's got really good padding. The adjustment loop is big and easy to grab, especially at night when you can't see it. It pulls rearward to tighten, and you push it forward to loosen, which is the setup I like. I like pushing out if I need more slack. Not sponsored, just my favorite sling. That's another thing I might as well mention. Nobody sent me any of this stuff. This is all purchased by myself, so if you're wondering if I'm trying to get you to buy any of it, I'm not.
What I might try to get you to buy are my own products I've been making. This video is sponsored by my company, Shooter's Preference. Everything's handmade by myself on my own sewing machine. There will be links in the description. What you're looking at is my latest product called the Ammo Sack. It's a drawstring ammo bag that fits around your wrist just to make loading mags a little bit more convenient. So if you're interested in supporting the channel and supporting my small business, go take a look. I'd really appreciate it. There's a bunch of other products on there you might like, and let's get back to the video.
I think that's everything. So the cool bit is this laser light combo. It's not a conventional laser aiming module, but I don't think it has quite as much of the jank as most single beam lasers detached from illuminators.
So where's the line between unconventional and janky? I'm still not totally sure. It took some fabrication and still needs quite a bit of testing, but I'll keep you updated. The goal is to run this in some competition and eventually a night vision match, so stay tuned for that. If you have any questions or you're running something similar, drop it in the comments. I'd love to see it. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, do all those things, and we'll catch you in the next one.